Welcome back for the win and then sports picks. We are back once again. We're going to recap the John Deere Classic. We're going to move along to 3 events on the calendar, Paul. Hope you're ready for your fill of golf action here, Paul. I hope the fans are ready for some golf action.
So we've got the appetizer, we've got the main course, and we have dessert. Woohoo!
Yeah, we got a lot. We got a full plate. We got 3 burners going. All the barbecues are ready to go. Our friends in the States just had their 4th of July weekend. We just had our Canada Day celebration. So all good in the hood. Let's do a little recap on the John Deere. An exciting finish. It actually had, I think, probably one of its best fields for that tournament, considering it's right before everyone goes across the pond. So I was entertained. I went to a playoff. For 1 second, it looked like it was going to be a 3-man playoff. David Lipsky just kind of came out of nowhere, eagled 17, and then just hit the worst drive you can think of on 18. And 2-man playoff with the Argentinian Emiliano Grillo versus Brian Campbell. He's the guy who won in Mexico this year. He was in a playoff with Aldrich Potgieter, and he hit his ball off of a tree and it bounced back in the fairway, and everyone thought he was dead. And like there was a lot of the golf community that was like betting on Potgieter, and this Brian Campbell won. And what do you know? He goes to another playoff, and a bunch of guys had Emiliano Grillo, and he lost in the playoff to Brian Campbell. So Campbell's soup hits him again, Paul, and that's his second victory of the year. Guy he's the shortest hitter on tour, believe it or not. And he's got 2 victories this year. So I'm not sure what that means.
You and I have seen guys that aren't long. Look at Furyk, and look at our favorite Canadian Mike Weir. Are they long bombers?
Corey Pavin?
Oh, yeah, they're not long bombers. Yet, it doesn't matter how long you can smoke it down the fairway as far as you want. Yet, if you leave yourself bad yardage and you can't hit a full wedge, or you gotta, late, you're asking for trouble. So what if you can't bomb it, 350 yards? If you only can hit it 200 yards, and your second shot is a perfect, 3-iron or 4-iron, or it's a full iron or a full wedge. You don't have to pull anything off. Those guys generally seem to do better than the guys that just rip it a country mile and then have to do these crazy ass shots that half the time, it's a coin flip. Is it going to work? Isn't it going to work? So,
Yeah, well, I think a lot of people are just kind of infatuated with the bomb and gouge.
Yeah.
Funny enough, it was invented by Vijay Singh, where he would just basically take driver on every par 4 and every par 5. He didn't care if it was a layup hole. And obviously it worked for him when he was in his prime. Now everyone's doing it. They're just like, there's no layup holes. Like even, the 10th at Riviera, which is a tough drivable par 4, it's like, just grab driver and just whatever happens. So it's it's kind of refreshing to see someone who can actually, I guess, strategize the course and not hit every drive like 330 yards. So right. So there's a lot of guys out there who's watching are like, hey man, I can drive it further than this Brian Campbell guy. And but he gets the job done. Congrats to him. Second victory of the year. It was actually his second top 30 of the year. He hasn't had any other top 30s. So he's a big game hunter when he gets in the middle. Yeah. So congrats to him. Cash 2 top 20s. Ricky Fowler's was a plus 220. And Siwoo Kim's was a plus 170. And honestly, those guys could have won the tournament. They just had one bad round. I think Fowler's was round 2 and Siwoo's is round 3. They just shot a 72. Everyone else shooting 66, 67, and they had 3 good rounds, but on the PGA Tour, that's not going to get it done. Last time I checked, Paul.
Nope.
So, yeah, well, I'll take the 2 top 20s, but everyone else I had missed the cut, sadly. So it was, I guess, some saving grace with the top 20s, but yeah, Siwoo kind of had a chance there, but not really on Friday and Saturday. But yeah, we move on. So let's take a look at the Genesis Scottish Open, Paul. This is where a lot of your native people are from. We're going to North Berwick. It is actually not a links course, believe it or not. It's called a Renaissance Club. It's I don't know why it's pronounced like that, but it's some French guy, I guess, wanted to pronounce that way. Apparently, the guy who owns this course, he's an American. He's some rich dude. His dream was to build a course in Scotland, and he bought it off of some royalty people, like some guys who inherited it or whatever. And yeah, he built the course, but it couldn't be that course that close to the water to be an actual links course. So
yeah,
but I think it's pretty cool course. When I see it on TV, it's not your like typical European links course, but it's got some tougher holes. 18's as a beast. 2 years ago, Rory McIlroy, he beat out McIntyre, beat out Adam Scott Open. So there's been some close finishes here, and it's been a lot of big names.
Yeah, right? Like you expect.
What were you going to say?
I said it's kind of like what you expect.
I mean, it's kind of it's a co-sanctioned event. It's co-sanctioned by both DP World Tour and PGA Tour. So it's actually got a really strong field. Just 2 of the top, I think, top 25 are not going to be here. I think Keegan's not here. I think Hideki's not here, but everyone else is here. So
yeah,
obviously besides the LIV guys. So it's a strong field. We do have an opposite field event. Robert McIntyre is your defending champ. It's a par 70. I believe it has 5 par 5s or 5 par 3s and 4 par 5s, something like that. It's got some quirky twists where it doesn't have as many par 4s, but yeah, it'll be a cool course to watch on TV. I got 3 picks up my sleeve, and I got top 20s for all of them.
Awesome.
Gonna kick it off with Sam Burns, 35-1. Top 20 is plus 150. He obviously did really well at the Canadian Open, losing in a playoff. Did well at the U.S. Open until it started to get really wet, and he didn't get a drop on one of the holes in the back 9, and then fortunately went south. But he was in the tournament for about 65 holes. So I like what I saw from there. He did okay at Travelers, so I think he's kind of turned the corner. Pretty good odds at 35-1. I think his putting is his strength, so he's hitting the ball decent. I think he's going to be in the mix here, and I think he can go up against the big boys, against like Scheffler and McIlroy. Those guys their odds are just crazy. I think Scheffler is like 3.5-1. Rory's like 5-1. So my general rule is I don't like to bet under 12-1. I think the return is not worth it. Maybe if it's in like a LIV tournament or like a smaller field or something like that, but against 140 of the best players in the world, it just doesn't work for me. Yeah, you know what I mean? So Sammy Burns, 35-1, plus 150 for his top 20, including ties. Next up, I'm going with Matthew Fitzpatrick, the Englishman, 37-1. Top 20 is plus 160. Yeah, he's been doing pretty well lately. I think he was a top 15 at the PGA Championship. That's kind of when I noticed that he flipped the switch and was hitting some really good shots, and he's getting his driving distance back, and that's how he won the U.S. Open in 2022. He gained a lot of speed. He was always a really good iron player. He's one of the few guys in pro golf that chips cross-handed. So he puts his left hand below his right. and it works really well. VJ did it for years, if you remember.
Yeah.
And Chris Kirk, I think he won the New Orleans tournament doing it about 20 years ago, and now I think Stuart Sink is doing it as well. So it just basically takes the right hand out of your chipping, right? So you can't just get too active and chunk the ball or whatever, right? So similar to the putting motion, right? Left hand low, but Fitzy at 37-1. He did pretty well, I think, at Travelers and some of the bigger events. He's popped, and it's been a while. He's one of my favorite golfers to watch when he plays.
Yeah.
And plays well, that is, obviously, right? So 37-1, I'm taking him. The last guy I got up my sleeve for the Genesis Scottish Open is the guy who lost in the playoff at the Rocket for me. One of the two guys, I should say, that lost for me in the Rocket Classic playoff. Max Gracerman, 60-1.
Wow.
Still hasn't won on tour. He's I think he's got like 4 second places. He had 3 seconds last year. Bomber. He's got a decent putting skills, and if his irons are decent, I think he can contend in this field. 60-1. I'm going to take him. His top 20 is plus 220. I think that's a pretty good number.
Oh yeah.
And I think this is the time of the year I think he gets hot. So going to ride the hot hand with Gracerman.
Awesome.
And that pretty much wraps it up for the Scottish Open. And for the other tournament that's in the North American side of the pond here is the ISCO Championship. I did have a guy in a playoff here last year. I believe it was Pearson Cootie. The guy lost. That sucked. It would have been back-to-back weeks with a winner. But anyways, that's the past. We move on. And it is 3 guys that I'm going to be taking. I'm going to kick it off with Seamus Power, 35-1 plus 150 is his top 20.
Nice.
I'm going with Chandler Phillips, 50-1, kind of a no-name, unheralded guy, hasn't won on tour. Plus 190 is his top 20. I just like what he does on these birdie fests. Kind of, the no-name guys are in it, and I think he can really mix hard here. He makes a ton of birdies, and even has his own commercial for one of those GPS boom boxes that you can click on to your cart. So I was like, this guy, he's kind of cool, right? He's got one of those Tom Selleck mustaches, and he's a birdie machine. He's kind of unheralded, right? So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this guy, 50-1. The top guys in this field, I mean, they're not that much different than the guys who are in the middle of the odds. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm just going to take. Seamus Power's at least won on the tour a couple of times, the Irishman.
Yeah.
So, and he's been playing well at these lesser events. He played pretty decent last week at John Deere and pretty decent at Rocket. So I think he's trending. So 35-1 on him, 50-1 on Chandler Phillips, plus 190 is his top 20. And the last guy, I'm taking Justin Lauer, another guy who does pretty well at Birdie Fest, hasn't won on the tour. Getting him at 90-1 and getting his top 20 at plus 280. I don't think I can go wrong there. Just taking a long shot with him. Yeah, man. I mean, none of these guys are household names. And it is an opposite field event, I should say. And, it's kind of take some guys who you think can make a shitload of birdies. And it's actually at a different course than he played in last year. I think last year they were in Kentucky. I'm not sure if it's still in the Kentucky area this year, but I do know they switched courses. So we'll see what's up with the new course there. And the final event we got is LIV Golf Andalucia. I don't have any picks quite yet, Paul. I'm thinking about doing a show later, and if I don't have time to do the show, I think I'll probably just post the picks in the chat on the message board there underneath the video. But we shall see. Just having a chance, 3 tournaments is a bit much, and we do have a major championship coming up next week, Paul. the oldest major,
Definitely.
the Open Championship in Northern Ireland, third time ever.
Yeah.
And pumped up for that, obviously. That would be the last major of the year. And we get to crown the champion golfer of the year. And after that, just 2 more regular season events. We'll be going to Minnesota for 3M Open.
Yeah.
And then we'll be going to Carolinas for the Wyndham, which is the last regular season event. 3 playoff events. And that's it for this season, Paul. We wrap it up for our first season on For the Win. And we love that people have been joining us and supporting us. And you guys are the best fans out there. We may not have the most,
definitely.
Paul, but we have a big chunk of loyal fans, right?
Definitely.
And yeah, so that pretty much wraps it up for this week's episode. We're going to be back, hopefully, for the LIV Golf Andalucia picks. If not, we're going to see you guys for the Open Championship. Later, everyone.
Hang loose, people. Peace out.